Okay, well, my name is Jeff Christensen, and I'm one of the career counselors at the Career Center. And today we're going to be talking about how to use LinkedIn and a little bit about Handshake for social media and how to network, how to build relationships online, and how to use these professional networks for your job search and finding opportunities. Because it's not what you know, it's who you know when it comes to finding opportunities. So I'm going to share my screen with you. And I'm first going to start off with talking about LinkedIn, and then we'll jump to Handshake in a little bit. So LinkedIn is basically Facebook for professionals. And it's unlike Facebook, when you look around at other people's stuff, it tells you that you're looking. So if you look at somebody's profile, they're going to know that you looked. And so it wants you to connect. It wants you to build relationships with people, and that's why it does that. You can change those settings in your privacy settings, but pretty much the whole idea of it is to try and get you to connect with other people. I'm going to show you my profile because everything is going to be based on the profile. Having a good solid profile is going to help you throughout the whole rest of the program. Let's see, before I do that, this is the news feed. It's very similar to Facebook where people are posting various professional things, and they should be related to the world of work, professional stuff, unlike on Facebook where people are just posting political stuff or whatever. That's not really the place for the stuff here on LinkedIn. So we're going to look at my profile. There's three main areas that I'm going to talk about with LinkedIn. It is the profile, the job search tool, and the alumni search tool. And all three of those are really pretty cool on this program. And I will have Katie send out a little checklist that will go through a lot of the things I talk about on how to do each one of these things step by step. So the first thing with your profile is you want to have a nice picture. You can add a nice background here if you like. I just went and just grabbed a picture from ISU's website, just added on here. But right here, this is called your headline or your tagline. And this is the first thing that the computer algorithms are going to look for when somebody does a search. And so however you want to be found, those are some of the keywords to add here in your tagline. And you can separate it by this little vertical line. It's the little button right up above the enter button on your keyboard. And if you're a student, you can say something like, look, engineering student looking for opportunities, ISU students looking for internships, things like that. Because that's pretty much your headline of what you're doing, who you are, how you, and some of those keywords. If you notice, I have over 500 connections. If you connect with me, I will connect with you. And then you become a second connection with all of my connections because it's just kind of building that whole net out in the world to find those opportunities. One thing that you can change on here is because your LinkedIn profile you can put your URL on your contact information on your resume. And so one way you can do that is you can click up here and edit your public URL. And that's right here. And so by default, it has linkedin.com/in and then your name and a bunch of letters and numbers. And it just kind of looks weird. So you can go in and personalize this last part to just put your name in there. And then it's a little bit more personalized to put it on your contact information on your resume. Also, down here is where you can edit your visibility and some of your privacy settings. So you can show who can see your profile. And I highly recommend opening it up to pretty much everyone because the more open you are, the more people can find you if you're looking for opportunities. And then you can lock down or show or hide what you want people to see. And this shows what your profile looks like to the public. And feel free as we're going along, if you guys have any questions, just jump in and ask. I like it to be more of a discussion than me just lecturing you if you do have questions. Now, in this little area right here, this is where you can show if you're open to work. And you can, when you click the little pencil here, you can, this section is basically sending out a message to the whole world saying, hey, this is what I'm looking for, come find me. And so here we can put in whatever job titles you'd be interested in. You can put in locations you'd be interested in moving to, if you're open to remote work, your start date, the job, the types. And then down here, you can say that you're only open to letting recruiters know about this, or you can change it to having all LinkedIn members let you know that you're open. If you do this, it'll add this little open to work tag on the side of your picture, which would be out here. It's the open to work photo frame. So everybody knows, oh, if you have that on there, then you're looking for opportunities. I have found that I've had students that as soon as they started filling this out, they started getting contacted by recruiters from all over the country within just a few days. And there's a lot of different titles you can add in here, but this is really just sending out your message, that signal to everybody saying, hey, come find me. I'm looking for opportunities. There's about 650 million members on LinkedIn. And so it's a big site. It's where most recruiters are. It's where a lot of job seekers are. So if you're not on here, you're kind of limiting yourself in opportunities. I've had a few HR directors talk to me about how they use LinkedIn. And one in particular, he said that if they're looking for a very specific skill set, they will go in and put that in their search, and whatever job or whatever profiles show up, they're probably going to be hiring from that list of people that show up, because it's a great way for them to find those very specific skills. So I highly recommend having a profile, filling it out, and utilizing it. What's interesting about LinkedIn is a lot of people have profiles, but not very many people know how to use LinkedIn. And so that's why we're doing this presentation, because hopefully by the time we're done here, you'll have a better understanding of how it can help you and give you the tools you need to make it this very effective for yourself. As we go down here, in this little about section, this is a little section that you can kind of tell your story. Give them some background, give them what your goals are, what are you trying to accomplish. I was in an online conference this summer, and the guy that was presenting, he's one of the top 10 LinkedIn voices. His name's Richard Bliss. And he talked about this section here. And he said only 2% of all people that are on here will click on this see more. And I used to say, well, just keep this short and sweet. But he talked about how if somebody is willing to go in and click this see more, and there's only like one little line on there, they're probably going to be disappointed. So he said, this is where you just expand out, tell your story. So I decided to add a few things on here about my background and kind of where I've come from, so people can get that. If they're interested enough to click the see more, I'm going to give them some more information. As we move on here, this is blued out, so nobody can see this but me, because we're looking at this on my profile. And you see that my profile is up to all-star level. And that doesn't mean that I'm awesome or fantastic or anything. It just means I have a certain amount of content on my profile. And if you have a picture, you have at least 50 connections, you have an experience, you have an education, each one of those things you add on there just builds it up from beginner to intermediate all the way up to the all-star level. This here shows who's viewed my profile, because like I said, whoever looks at your profile, it's going to tell that person that you looked. Right here, this shows how many article views that I've had. So I'm not publishing anything on the news feed, so nobody's reading my articles. But if I had published anything, this would say how many have looked at what I've written. And then this is how many people how many searches I've appeared in the last week. So this changes every week, and it tells us about where your searchers work and what they do. And if you have enough keywords that they search for, it'll show you the keywords that they used as well. So it's a good way to see what you're doing, if it's working or not. And I'm not really looking for a job. I love what I do. I use LinkedIn mostly just to teach people how to use it. And so I'm not really posting a lot of stuff trying to get a lot of attention. I'm just trying to use this as an example. As we go down here, we can see that I have an experience section. So I'm a career counselor. I also own my own handyman business on the side. And so instead of just saying I'm a career counselor, I get some details in here. And with each one of the experiences, when you edit them, you just fill out the information up here and it'll just fill it in for you. And then here's the description. And there's two different ways you can kind of go about it. One, you can just write it in paragraph form, which I've done here, or you can use bullet points. And bullet points are what I highly recommend using on a resume, but people read a little bit different online. So you can do bullets or paragraphs. And in my experiences down below, I did some bullets as well, so you can see how they look a little bit different. But with each one of your experiences, you can add in media. You can link to external documents, photos, sites, videos. So this can become your online portfolio. So if you did build a poster presentation, you can scan that in and upload it. You can link to websites and various things. I've worked with quite a few computer programming students that I've had them link their websites and the video games and things that they've built so that employers can go out and actually see the work that they've done. So each one of these experiences you can expand out and put quite a few different things on there. Next, we have the education piece. And this has gives the name of your degree and the activities and things. And then I added some details in there as well. And these ones I bulleted, so you can see how it looks different than the paragraphs. Now, instead of just saying I have a master's degree, in the counseling program, it requires 1,000 hours of internship, which is an awful lot. And so I've added some of those things on there where I did my practicums, where I did my internships, I was teaching classes, just to showcase more of what I've been able to accomplish instead of just saying I just have a degree. So the more things you've done, the extracurriculars you're involved with, add those things on there.
Jeff, would that be a good spot for students who have lab hours to kind of calculate approximately how many lab hours they, hands-on lab hours they have in their program so far?
Yeah, this would be a good place to showcase that as well. Mm-hmm. And since we are in the, you guys are all the College of Tech, I have a degree from the auto body program in the College of Tech too. And so it's kind of talked about some of the things I did while I was there as well. I have a license certification. So any certifications you have, if you have a CPR or your CNA, those things can be added on here. So that can go along with the clinical stuff as well. Skills and endorsements. This is an area where you can add skills, because in the job search, when we look at that in a little bit, it'll take the jobs and it'll show that you have, say, 1 out of the 6 skills they're looking for. And it's pulling that from the skills section right here. So the more skills you have on here that you actually have, so you don't want to make things up, the better it is. And these are the skills that I put on here, and then people can endorse you for that. So I can look this up, and this shows a list of all the people that have endorsed me for resume writing. It's kind of like recommendations, and people can actually write you little letters of recommendation on here as well. I don't have any of those, but people can do that all as well. One final thing is in my bachelor's program, I got an article published, and so I link that here, and so that you can click on this and it'll actually take you right out to that publication. So this is a great way to showcase all of the different things that you've done as a student to really show that you've gone above and beyond, that you have all of these different accomplishments. And then down here, I have various interests, companies and things that I'm following. When we look at that, I'm following some influencers, some companies, some groups, and schools. And we'll talk about groups in a bit, but groups are a really great way to find people that are in a specific industry that you're in, and you can start connecting with them. So that's pretty much the profile in a nutshell. Up here is all the different types of sections you can add. Patents, publications, courses, projects, awards, test scores. I mean, you can put lots and lots of stuff on here the more you show, the better it's going to be. So that's the profile. Are there any questions about that? All right. Well, if there aren't any questions about the profile, we'll move on to the job search. So right up here at the top, we click on jobs. And this is just like pretty much most other job search websites, but this has quite a bit more information that can help you with. And one thing they just added this resume builder. And all of these little icons up here, just in the last week, those changed. Because I think they're trying to make it a little bit more mobile friendly, because there is an app where you can do LinkedIn on the app. I prefer the desktop version just because it's a little bit more robust, but they have changed a few things just based on that. So in our search, we'll search for, I don't know, let's see. Well, let's look at finance because I've got that there. So type in finance, and then by default, it'll go to United States. We can narrow that down to Idaho or Pocatello or wherever we want to narrow it down to. So we'll say Idaho. So right there's 1,500 results about finance jobs in Idaho. And here's the list of the jobs. And then here are the job postings zoomed in. So here we have this credit union examiner position, and this as an easy apply. I really like these because, just like the name implies, it makes it very easy to apply for these positions. So when you click on the easy apply, you put in your email, your phone number, you upload a resume, and occasionally they might have one or two other pages of just very simple information. You hit submit, and you've applied for that job. So it's just, like it says, it's very easy to apply. If employers are using this, I think they actually have to pay extra for the easy apply feature. And it means that they're doing a majority of their recruiting through LinkedIn. They want to make it easy for themselves, and they want to make it easy for you. And so by utilizing that easy apply button, it just makes it easy for both people. So this position was posted a week ago. 44 people have viewed it, and 4 people have already applied. Now you see right here, I have 0 out of the 10 skills that match this. I don't have much finance stuff on my profile. And so this is one thing that they just changed. Kind of bugs me that they did. But down here, you used to be able to scroll down, and it would give you a section of the skills that it was required, these skills they were looking for, and it would show the ones that you had and the ones that you were lacking. So you could go back on your profile and add those things so you could make yourself a better match for those industry jobs. Since I didn't add that, I can just see that I'm missing some of the skills, because one of the things that they've tried to do is get you to buy premium. And it's right up here. You can try it for a month for free. Premium's pretty awesome. I don't have premium because I don't really need it. But if I was doing a job search, I would definitely utilize it because there are some cool features about it. It costs about $30 a month if you have it. So it is kind of expensive. But if you do have it, then right here you can compare. You can see how you compare to the other applicants applying for the positions. You can also send messages to people without connecting with them. You can also, it'll show you jobs where you're a top applicant. And I think it actually has the skills that you need, and it'll show that below. So they've taken all of the expensive things and shrunk them down, because about 2.5, 3 years ago, Microsoft bought LinkedIn for $26 billion. And that's a huge amount of money. And so what they've done is they've said, okay, here's a very valuable platform. We're going to try to get our money back out of it. And so that's what they've done. They've taken a lot of the free stuff, shrunk it down, and then added a lot of other things that you have to pay for. But when you look at the jobs over here, sometimes you're going to see this little IS logo. Because I have ISU on my profile, it's going to attach me to those. So here, this is alumni, somebody that was at ISU that works at that company. And so if I was wanting to go into this company, here's somebody that I could connect with that I already have a couple things in common with. attended ISU, I have a LinkedIn account, I'm interested in this company. So anytime you see that, it's going to be related to ISU. Up here under these filters, you can filter by all sorts of different things. The LinkedIn features, so if you only wanted the jobs that were easy apply or under 10 applicants, there's quite a few different filters. And then you can put these job alerts on or off, so you can save that. So it'll email you a job update anytime that something changes in this particular search that you have saved, and you can and it'll just keep emailing you all those updates. Now, we'll talk about groups here for a bit. So right here we're in jobs, but we type in finance, but right here we can go down to groups. So we have finance and groups. There's 21,000 groups related to finance. And with this, if you want to join one of these groups, a lot of them are private, and so what they're going to do is you click on there, you request to join, and then they're going to go back and they're going to look at your profile, and they're going to see, okay, does this person have finance stuff on their profile? If you don't, they might not let you join, but if you do, then they'll approve your request. And this is a really fantastic way to find people that are very specific in your industry, because a lot of these will have job postings, what people are doing, kind of the cutting edge technology out in the field. It's a great way to connect with people that are doing what you're doing. Groups are really a pretty neat way to network with people. All right, so that's pretty much the job search piece and the groups. Are there other questions about those before we move on? Okay, well, I guess I'm being pretty covering all the details. Okay, so now I went back home, but up here into the search, we're going to search the alumni. Use the Alumni Search tool, and this is my favorite feature of all of LinkedIn. Because we can find very, very specific people very quickly using this feature. So up here, we can just type in Idaho State University. I've already done that, so here we go. So let's click on that. And you can do this with any school. So you just type in whatever school you're looking for, and you can find the alumni. Now you may think to yourself, okay, how many people do I have that could help me in a job search? Maybe 5, 10 people that you may know. Well, as someone who's attended ISU, and if you have a LinkedIn account, right here, we're going to look at the alumni. And look here, there's over 40,000 people that you have at least 2 things in common with. Attended ISU, you have a LinkedIn account, and then it can expand from there. So out of these 40,000 people, it's going to tell us where they live, where they work, what they do, what they studied, what they're skilled at, and how you're connected with them. And so you can type keywords up in here, or you can just click these little bars down here. So let's say we have a company over here that we want to work for. So let's say on semiconductor. Well, we narrowed it down from 40,000 to 160. And then let's say we're interested in moving to Phoenix, because On Semiconductor has their headquarters are in Phoenix. Well, we just took 40,000, narrowed it down to 6, and then we scroll down here to the bottom, and here's all of their profiles. And so these would be very, very specific people to what you'd be looking for that you can reach out to and send them a message. So how this works, when you look at their profile, it'll give you their name, and then this little second or third, sometimes it'll say first. This is how I'm connected with them. So a first connection is if I was connected with you just like a friend on Facebook. So that's the first connection. A second connection would be me to one of your friends, and a third connection would be me to one of their friends. So me personally, I have about 900 first connections. I've got, and I think it expands out, I've got like 30,000 third connections. So it just really expands very quickly. But that's what the first, second, third means on here. And then it gives their tagline or their headline. And then the little number here is the year they graduated from ISU and then the degree that they got. If they don't have that little number, it means they have ISU somewhere on their profile. They didn't necessarily graduate. So when we look at somebody's profile, so I'm going to look at this guy. I don't know this person, but it's going to tell him that Jeff Christensen looked at his profile. And I'm okay with that. I don't care, but I just want you to be aware that when you look at somebody's profile, that's what's going to happen. They're going to get a little note saying, hey, so-and-so looked at your profile. So, and you can look at his profile and kind of see how it differs from mine. I mean, there's, so he has some recommendations down here. So that's a good way to get some ideas of what you can add on yours as well. So if you have premium, you can send a message to somebody without connecting with them right here. But you see I have it locked because I don't have premium, but there's a way around it. And I really like this feature because you can click on this connect. Yep. Yep. And this little note, you have 300 characters to send a message to this person. Something along the lines of, hey, I attended ISU like you did. I'm really interested in working for ON Semiconductor. I'd love to connect with you and talk about opportunities. Or I move into the Phoenix area and I'd like to see if you have any opportunities down there, or whatever it is that you'd want to do. But you can use that personalized message to send that invitation to connect. And they get an email with that little message. And it also shows up in the messaging system within LinkedIn. And so then you can start that, you can connect, you can start those conversations, and it's just a fantastic way to find very specific people to what you're looking for. The messaging system is down here. And so you can send your messages back and forth in that area there once you've connected with someone. So that's the Alumni Search tool. Are there any questions on that? You can try a couple other things. If you're interested in working for a specific company, you can type them in over here. So let's say Google. Like 599 alumni that have Google somewhere on their profile. But then we can see, okay, here's 5 that actually work there. So here they are. These people actually work for Google. So if you wanted to get in with that company, these would be some people that you could connect with. It's just a real neat tool. You can adjust the years, so only people that have graduated in the last like 5 years or 10 years. And like I said, you can do this with any school. So ISU has about 40,000 alumni. Some like bigger schools like Ohio State have like 800,000 alumni. And that's something that you can use to your advantage as well, is let's say you want to get into a like microbiology or marine biology, for example, because we don't have marine biology at ISU. But you can go look up schools that have marine biology programs and then look up the people that went through those programs and connect with them. Because I've met with students that are interested in getting into that for like a graduate program. Well, here you have an opportunity to find people that do what you're thinking about going into, and you can talk to them and ask them informational interview or ask them questions just to see what the job really entails. Up under this little 3x3 grid is also LinkedIn Learning. And this is really neat little thing. And this is another part why Microsoft bought LinkedIn, is for this LinkedIn Learning piece. If you have premium, you can utilize this. If not, you got to pay the $30. But this is just a list of just hundreds and hundreds of little courses that you can take to learn various skills, like how to use, deliver an authentic elevator pitch, computer exercises, communication, how to write code, analytics, Excel spreadsheets. I mean, there's just hundreds of them that is kind of like a little online university, just building skills and learning how to do different things. So I really like that. I've looked at a few of these little courses, because sometimes they'll send little free ones periodically. but that's right here under this little 3x3 grid. Okay, that's pretty much what I was going to talk to you about LinkedIn. And like I said, I will send Katie my LinkedIn checklist, and it'll kind of walk you through each one of the steps on how to use all three of those features. And are there any questions right now at this point?
Jeff, on the learning opportunities that people can be a part of, do any of those offer like an endorsement or some sort of a certificate that then can additionally be placed on their LinkedIn profile?
Yes. Some of these will have the little endorsement thing, but they also have, I know one that does that actually is pretty challenging is under the skills section. Right down here, you can take a skills quiz under the skills. And when you take these, a lot of these are like very computer programming based. So here's all the quizzes they have available, like Adobe, After Effects, Amazon. You can take these and they're challenging. Like I took one on PowerPoint and I'm pretty familiar with PowerPoint. I failed miserably. It was hard. And once you pass it, then it does give you that little badge on your profile that you are qualified in that area. And as you see, it's really heavy in computer programming because the computer industries, they go a lot on those badges as credentials. And so if you can showcase here on LinkedIn that I've passed one of their tests, then that's going to make you a little bit more marketable. And what's interesting is if you go and take one of these and you fail it, you have to wait like 2 or 3 months before you can take it again. So it's not just a little IQ quiz kind of thing on Facebook that you can take over and over. They're pretty intense. And I felt pretty dumb when I took the PowerPoint one and failed it pretty bad. But I just wanted to try and see what they look like. But these do give you those badges on there as well. So yeah, great question. All right, anything else? Okay, now I'm going to show you a little bit about Handshake and then leave a few minutes at the end for some questions if anybody has any. So can you still see this where it says, oh man, it was logging me out. All right, so can you see this? Does it look where it says, what can we help you with find today? Okay, good. Now with Handshake, this is on our Career Center website. So isu.edu/career. And it's right here on the front. And when you click on that, you log in with your ISU username and password. This is where you can do, if you're looking for a job on campus, if you're looking for a CPI internship, if you're looking for jobs here in the local area, you can find them all right here. So this is our ISU jobs platform. So if you're looking for a job, click on jobs over here. And you can filter by quite a few things. So if you just want to work on campus, you just click on campus and we got 14 jobs. So here's the jobs down here. And then just like with LinkedIn, you have the job posting here. This is what you would tailor your resume to. And then you can apply, or you can bookmark these and go back and look at them later. So if you save it, then you can go back up here to the saved section and it'll see the ones that you've saved. Occasionally, they'll have this little fresh here, and that means that it's been posted very recently. And also you can apply externally on some of the jobs, so it'll take you out to the company's websites. With Handshake, we're tied into about 900 universities and about 400,000 or 500,000 employers. And so it's not just jobs here on campus, but it's also local, regional, and national. So once you get ready to graduate, you can utilize Handshake as your platform. The difference between Handshake and LinkedIn is Handshake is more geared towards university and college students. And LinkedIn is more about professionals out in the world of work that are already kind of established out there or looking for more opportunities. And so I really recommend using both of them hand in hand, because they both can help you, especially as a college student. The handshake is you're going to find more jobs that are looking for college graduates, whereas LinkedIn is looking for people that have a little bit more outside of college experience. If you can do keyword searches over here. So if you're just looking for a CPI, click CPI, and all the jobs will say CPI here. Or if you're looking for like work study job, you can type in work study there as well. You can do the location and just type in Pocatello, and then you can change your distance. So if you wanted to go all the way to Idaho Falls, you could up it to 52 miles. And then it'll, let me get rid of the keyword. So there are 140 jobs within about 50 miles of Pocatello already on here. Another cool thing about LinkedIn or Handshake is on our profile. You can click your name over here, click your profile. So this is my profile here. And if I have a resume, I can select it here and upload it, and then it'll fill out all of the profile down here for me. So I don't have to do any of that stuff. It just puts it all in there, and then I just go in and approve it. So it's pretty similar to LinkedIn, but this will do most of the work for you, which is kind of cool. Final thing that I wanted to talk about is if you want to meet with us at the Career Center, we're located in the museum building on the 4th floor, right up above the registrar's office. Right now we're meeting most students over Zoom, but we're happy to meet with you for all sorts of different things. So if you want to make an appointment with us, you can just come over here to Career Center. So you click Career Center and you come down here to appointments. And then you can schedule a new appointment, and then whatever you're looking for. So we do resume reviews, mock interviews, personal statements if you're getting into applying for a graduate program, career counseling. We're all licensed counselors, and so we can help you through that counseling process, figuring out what career path would be a good fit for you based on your values, your skills, your interests, a lot of different things like that. We can help you with your own LinkedIn review. So if you have a profile and you want to have us look over it, we'll set up an appointment, and you and I can go over this individually together if you'd like. Job search help and any help with the CPI program. So you just click on here, you find an appointment time that works for you on your calendar and our calendar, and then it just makes those appointments. All right, well, that kind of zipped through that fairly quickly, but those were kind of some of the main things that I was wanting to share with you all today. Hopefully this has been helpful. So are there any questions for me today? I know
Jack says, thank you. That was very helpful. Thanks, Jack, for using the chat. I don't have a question, but I do have a comment. We've had several students that have actually been through LinkedIn, kind of scouted out through like Wunderlich Mehlich, even the Idaho National Laboratory. And so connecting with your instructors will help you connect into the industry, and those talent acquisition and recruitment specialists, a lot of them are already connected with instructors. And so that's one really great way to be utilizing LinkedIn. And then also, I've seen quite a few students post pictures of themselves in clinicals or in their labs working on things. And just, you know, even doing it once a semester, so 2-3 times a year, just saying, hey, this is what I'm learning in my program right now, and or something that's really fun, an event that you're able to attend that is, you know, industry related. Those are all great things to put on there, and I really do think people are watching that. Those talent acquisition and recruiters are I see them being very active on LinkedIn towards our College of Technology students.
Yeah, I met with the HR director from Melaleuca, and he said he spends probably about at least 2, maybe 3 hours a day on LinkedIn, recruiting, looking for people, posting things. And one thing that he recommended, and going along with what Katie was saying with connecting with people, if you're interested in working for a company, a really good idea, and I thought this was pretty helpful information that he shared, is if you go and connect with the top person in the organization, like for Melaleuca, it would be Frank Vandersloot, for example. Now, Frank Vandersloot probably doesn't care that you exist, but he'll connect with you or whoever runs his profile. But as soon as you connect with him, you become a second connection with everybody throughout the organization, all the mid-level managers and people that you would probably be needing to be connecting with. And so I thought that was a great way to just kind of get to everybody all at once instead of just trying to find people individually. So if you're looking at somebody at the INL, try and find the CEO or some of the head people, try and connect with them, because you never know when those opportunities can present themselves.
Wonderful. Thank you so much, Jeff, for all of this fabulous information. I listened to this presentation last year and I learned a lot, even just hearing it again. And then it looks like some of the features have changed a little bit. And so that was great information. Thank you. And again, anybody who, if I will put in the chat my email address, and if you will let me know that you want that checklist, I will make sure that you get that sent, a copy sent to you in your email.
If you do have any other individual questions, please send me an email. My name is Jeff Christensen, so my email is chrijeff@isu, so CHRIJEFF. And we can put that in the chat as well if you would, Katie. So, well, I've appreciated presenting with you guys today, and so that's all we have for this session. So thank you.
Thank you. And Jeff, I'm using the same link for our second meeting, just I didn't want to confuse students on which time. So you're welcome if you want to pop out and take a little break and then pop back in about 15 minutes. Feel free to do that. But thank you so much. This was really wonderful and very helpful.
You're welcome. And I'll stop the recording and get it going, and then we don't need to record the other one. So.
Perfect.